So to ensure a smooth performance as your zoos grow, Planet Zoo Console Edition features a zoo complexity meter. This meter increases as you expand and add to your dream zoo. And this screenshot is an example of a detailed zoo at 21% on the zoo complexity meter. Hey everyone, my name is the Lady Designer, and today I would like to talk with you guys more about this zoo complexity meter and what this will actually mean for you if you're going to play Planet Zoo on console. So without further talking, let's jump right into it, because right over here we have the map that they are showing on that particular screenshot. This is one of the career scenarios that we already have on Planet Zoo on PC. So with a big thank you to Kane, one of our YouTube members and friends, who was able to make me a Sandbox map out of this one to make sure to tell you guys what exactly you can expect with the building limit, I would like to call it, with Planet Zoo console. And to be completely honest, it's actually looking a lot better than my first assumptions. I'm going to be honest about that. I thought the limit would be lower. So it turns out that this map, now I don't know if I actually, so the buildings are already connected again, but I did do a count of this map and all the other maps to see how many pieces it exactly would have. So okay, this map has a 21% on the zoo complexity meter. So the amount of pieces that you are seeing here in this map, and this is a quite detailed map. It's not super heavily detailed everywhere, but there are like some really cute little corners and stuff. So this map definitely does look super nice and has a 21% on the complexity meter. So the total amount of pieces that you are seeing here on this map is, say, 19,000 pieces on 21%. So if we recalculate that to 100 pieces, this would mean that you would have pretty much a building limit of 90,000 pieces, which is actually not bad at all. And I will show you guys by comparing it to all of my other zoos to give you guys a better idea of like how many pieces I used for my zoos to get an idea of what you will be able on Planet Zoo consoles. The only thing that I do have to say, we do not exactly know at this point if the complexity meter includes an animal or staff limit, or that the meter will go up when adding animals or staff. So that could be a thing that may change the amount of pieces a little bit, but I'm honestly not expecting huge differences, but time will tell, obviously. But to simply give you guys at least somewhat of an idea of how many animals this zoo holds, this is the career scenario, so this is obviously not a finished zoo. This one has 7 species and a total of 32 animals. And this one is having a total amount of staff of 21 people. So to give you guys a better idea of like my zoos and how many pieces they include, how was I able to build these zoos with how many pieces, how many habitats or how many species do we have, I would love to show you guys a few of my finished zoo series that you can find all on the channel. This right over here is actually my very first Sandbox mode series, and this one is pretty much a base game zoo because when I finished this one, we only had the Arctic pack, and back then I wasn't really exciting about this pack, and so I may have used 1 or 2 pieces from that pack. There are no animals from that pack in this zoo, so yeah, I am going to call this one my very first base game zoo. So if you're interested in what you can do with the base game, obviously we did get a lot of more free stuff later on over the free updates, which are also added to the base game. But yeah, this was for me the first zoo that I ever built with the base game in 2019. It's definitely a zoo that I'm still super proud of nowadays. So this one actually actually has 31 species. Not entirely sure if that is also 31 habitats, because we do have a few combined animals or habitats that have a mixed species, so there are more animals than one in there. I think we right over here have a giraffe and zebra and ostrich habitat, so yeah, that will count as one, but there are plenty of one animal habitats in here, so say 30 habitats in total. There are right now 186 animals in the zoo. I'm not entirely sure if that is going to matter, but just to give you guys an idea of what the size is of this zoo. And being a Sandbox mode zoo, I didn't really pay too much attention to how much staff I actually needed. So there are 286 staff members in this zoo, but I actually don't know how much that will matter for people playing on consoles. But then obviously the main question, how many pieces does this zoo have? This zoo has 53,700 pieces. So if 90,000 pieces is the maximum building limit of the Planet Zoo Console Edition, you are easily able to build a similar zoo like this and even expand it almost double the size. So that is definitely great news. If you want to see a full zoo tour of this zoo, I highly recommend you to watch that zoo. It's like the most watched zoo tour, at least on my channel. I think it has 1,300,000 views or something like that, which is insane. So yeah, definitely a zoo I am super proud of, and great to see that a zoo like this will be possible for you guys on Planet Zoo Console Edition. So then we're going not really to a zoo per se. This is actually a wildlife park, and you may already see that this zoo may not be super interesting when it comes down to piece count, but I can imagine that there are people out there that are now trying to get some inspiration for things that they can do other than making a zoo. So yeah, you can go for a wildlife park that you can see right over here. Definitely a zoo that I'm very proud of. There's a jeep safari going all the way through this whole area. We have like beautiful natural scenes here with waterfalls, which I'm just super proud of. I'm not entirely sure if I would recommend doing it exactly the same as I did, because this is like pretty much one big habitat with a few exceptions here and there. But yeah, the bigger you go, the more you need to pay attention to. If your computer, I wanted to say, if the console is able to calculate the traversable area, so yeah, making it more separate habitats is definitely smarter to do. I think that will definitely benefit the performance, but there are like a lot of natural boundaries in here. So we have like one area here with ostriches and zebras and I don't know exactly what else is walking around here. There's a lot, warthogs and stuff. And by adding this as a natural boundary, these guys are pretty much staying here. I think the only animal that is able to walk everywhere is the warthog. It's a very interesting concept, and it was a lot of fun to build a very natural wildlife park in here. So when it comes down to the animals, we have 17 species in here and a total amount of animals of 292. We have flamingos here and lions, and there are okapis here, and the now monitor most of the African animals that were also in the base game, I think. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, definitely really cool to see. And the question you are probably here for, the amount of pieces, this comes down to say 35,000 pieces. So again, with a 90,000 piece count, which will probably be the max, this is definitely possible to create some kind of cool wildlife park in on Planet Zoo Console Edition if you want to. And as I said, this whole series is on the channel as well, called Inama Zoo. So definitely go and check this one out if you are interested in getting some more inspiration and see how I exactly did this. So then go to pretty much one of my most favorite series that I have on the channel, but also one that is still not finished yet, which is such a pity, but I hope one day I will finish it. This is my city zoo, one of the longest running ongoing series on the channel still. It doesn't have any animals, or it has a few animals. I made a complete video about that, which comes down to the performance of big zoos on your PC, and yeah, making sure that you have no animals in there is definitely the way to go for if you want to continue building in a huge zoo like this, because this zoo, ladies and gentlemen, has 215,000 pieces. So no, if you're wondering if you are able to do this on Planet Zoo console, I do have to disappoint you, because this is definitely more than twice the size that you are probably able to do on Planet Zoo console, which is obviously a pity. On the other hand, looking at the performance that I have, if I would fill up this whole zoo with animals and such, I would not be able to get a smooth experience like this. Now, obviously, Frontier does do a free update every 3 months next to a pack, and then will try to boost performance. So I have the feeling that this one is already, again, a little tiny bit smoother than it was a few months ago. But yeah, having an active big zoo like this that would actually be finished with tons of animals in there, it's just pretty much not possible. So yeah, some things you should really not expect to be able to do on a console edition, but it is definitely a zoo I am super proud of. With the amount of pieces, it's actually insane. I did not expect it to have 215,000 pieces in here, but it's also not really surprising. I mean, these buildings are built entirely with plaster pieces, like tons of small, tiny little pieces. So it's really not that surprising that it is, but I was just like, oh my goodness, yes, that is quite a lot of pieces. So yeah, I'm so sorry. You can obviously build like a smaller city zoo or whatsoever, but don't expect to do exactly the same like I did right over here, and it's not even finished. It would probably be around 300,000 animals when this pieces if I would ever be able to finish this zoo. But yeah, it's definitely one to get some really great inspiration off for a city zoo if you are planning to build that on your Planet Zoo console edition. So definitely go and check out this series if you are interested, because everything that we build in here is obviously also on the channel in a whole big series. So then we're moving on to the River Safari Adventure. This zoo is only, well, I'm not gonna call it a zoo. This is made for a boat ride specifically. So it's not a complete zoo. All the edges and stuff are pretty ugly, so I'm not going to show that too much. But yeah, there are people out there that just want to experience maybe how to build a river boat ride safari in their zoo. So this zoo has, let's see, 20 different species. So we have monkeys and hippos and jaguars. This is obviously also made with a lot of the different packs that we have in the game, and this one includes 249 animals, and this one just goes all the way around. I'm not really sure if we are able to see. Yeah, there are a lot of alarms, so keep that in mind, because there's not really a super easy system to make sure that these animals are not escaping. A lot of the elephant grass is hopefully helping, but this one looks like being on its way to try and escape from this habitat, so that is definitely a thing. So the alarms, there's not really much you can do about it, or try at least to make it to close off all the habitats. But this was definitely also a really fun adventure. So if you're looking for any inspiration for a riverboat ride safari, definitely go and check out this series on the channel as well. Oh yeah, that's right. I am not entirely sure if these kind of things are possible. So we have a boat ride with a tunnel, so we go underneath here, underneath the water. You can probably do the same on console, but I cannot guarantee you this. But yeah, then we have an underwater viewing here with some hippos, which is just really awesome. It took quite a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get here, but we were able to do this. We have the saltwater crocodile right over here, a little island in the middle. And I think we actually did the same type of technique. Oh, look, there goes the boat. It's just such a beautiful boat. I just love it. So we have some otters here. So yeah, we did the same here. We have an underwater viewing gallery on this side. Just look at these guys. This is just brilliant. I love this so much. So we have one side, the underwater viewing gallery, and then on the other side, we have more of a shelter area. Just look at this little fella. It's so cute. You have such a funny face. And I think we also did the same with like the dwarf caiman and such. Just look at this beautiful open area here with the flamingos. Absolutely love it. And we continue right over here. I'm now trying to tour this zoo, which I should not do, but I just get a little bit excited here because it's been such a long time. We have a sun bear that is able to walk from one side to the other side. All right, this is what I was talking about, the dwarf caiman. We also have the same thing right over here. These tunnels are just so much fun. I really do hope you guys are able, but prepare, because this is super hard. I have a tutorial on my channel which you can watch of how I did this on PC. I don't know if this is going to be possible as well on the console edition. It's not exactly possible on PC as well, so it's pretty much trying to work around what you can do, but it's not officially a thing if you guys think that, so don't expect that too much. But yeah, this definitely was a lot of fun. So river boat ride safari, actually don't know if that was the official name when we just started it, but the whole playlist is on my channel as well if you are interested in getting some inspiration for a park like this where you have a boat going all the way through a zoo with different habitats and stuff. And the amount of pieces, I don't think I did mention that one already, but it is 20,000 pieces. So it's not a zoo. It's only for the ride why I built this, but 20,000 pieces, you guys. You can obviously build a whole zoo around it if you want to, because there's still plenty of space left when it comes down to piece count for the Planet Zoo console edition. So that is really exciting. So we're going to quickly do an honorable mention to one of my other most favorite series, collaboration with Eben Silverad, Rudy Renkemmel, and Mike Sheets. An incredible zoo, but I just don't know the piece count because this zoo has so many pieces that it just takes like 10 to 15 minutes to actually load the zoo, but two, if I actually wanted to do a piece count on it, the game just crashed on me, so it's just not really possible. But this is definitely one of the zoos we are all just so freaking proud of. But yeah, this is just not something that you will be able to make on a Planet Zoo console edition if this zoo is lagging so much more already than City Zoo, even though this one does have like 75 species in it, 488 animals. But just look at all these things that we have here on the sides even. I mean, there are hotels, like fully decorated hotels even. There's stuff here that we probably never even showed in a video just yet. But there is some incredible stuff in here. But obviously, this piece count is just freaking insane. If City Zoo is 215,000 pieces, I am guessing that this one is above 300, maybe even 400, I don't know. But this zoo is just full of so many really, really tiny pieces. And again, this zoo is also on on the channel. So if you want to follow this one and just see how we got here, just look at this insane hotel. It's just ridiculous. Definitely go and check out the zoo. You can definitely get tons of inspiration of the beauty of some of the architecture that you can find in here, and the nature. And I mean, this is a reptile house, you guys, and oh wait, and it's just freaking insane. Like, I started this reptile house and then Mike Sheets took over and added some stuff to it, and it's just one of my most favorite buildings. There's just so much inspiration in here, so many details and stuff that you're like, oh my freaking goodness, am I seriously able to do that in this game? Definitely go and check out this zoo if you want to see some really highly detailed stuff and inspiration of a more Indonesian themed Asian zoo. It's fantastic. It's an amazing project, and we had so much fun building in the zoo. I think one of the reasons why everyone is not really excited to jump back in it is the amount of FPS that we have. We might want to try and empty the whole zoo before we are able to work on it again, because it's now like 15 FPS for me. But if I want to build, it's getting even slower because it's constantly counting all the pieces. So no, this is not really the great example of things you can do with Planet Zoo Console Edition. This is probably also a great example that you should not do on PC even. So yeah, it's an amazing and incredible zoo. Definitely, but it's just not possible in Planet Zoo Console. That is what I can say for sure, unfortunately. But really great inspiration in here if you're looking for a tropical Indonesian Asian style zoo. Definitely one to watch. So this right over here is a great example of something that you will be able to do on Planet Zoo Console Edition. This is actually one of my mini zoos. At some point, I decided to go more for some smaller zoos, adding a lot more details, but just keeping it small also due to FPS, but also just to keep the interest, so not having too long series on the channel. So this actually is our winter mini zoo series that we did, I think, 2 years ago around Christmas, and this one includes 8 different species, so 8 different habitats and around 56 animals if I am correct. And right over here we have some really cool habitats here, and mostly created with, I think, the Euro pack. That's when I started. No, it was the Twilight pack. I usually don't remember. It's a combination, I think, of the European animals, mostly from the Twilight pack, the Euro pack and such. So we have a really cool striped skunk habitat right over here, more of a nocturnal house. These kind of things you will be able to do as well on Planet Zoo Console. Obviously, building it might be a little bit different with the controller, but I know Frontier and they do quite a good job in creating an easy way of using a controller. So yeah, for what I've heard, at least, I have not played with a controller myself, it will be quite easy to handle. And if you do not want to play with a controller, then you will still be able to play Planet Zoo Console as well on a mouse and keyboard. So you should be totally fine however you want to play this. But yeah, this is just a more small, oh yes, that's right, the Amur leopard habitat is this, right? I think it is. It was so much fun to build this. It's quite challenging, but yeah, as I said, like all the videos from all the series that I'm showing right now are all on the channel, starting with an episode 1 showing how I build everything in mostly a speed build, and we're also doing a lot of management because this was also a franchise mode series. Oh, that's right, we have an ice skating ring even here. It's obviously not usable, but it's just super cool. We have a rat panda here, and I think there's a European badger. So this zoo has around 32,000 pieces. So this also is pretty doable. You can even make it twice the size, maybe even 3 times the size as big as this winter mini zoo. So these kind of things are definitely possible when you're playing on Planet Zoo Console Edition. Now, one of the zoos that I consider as my best zoo ever made is my African mini zoo. This zoo is again a mini zoo, but it's not as tiny as the winter mini zoo. But this one I had so much fun with building it. We have some really great animals in here. I think in total there are 29 species of animals with around 17 habitats. So yeah, it's not super big, but it's definitely bigger than the 8 habitats that we just saw. And this zoo has around 282 animals in total. This is a franchise mode zoo, so we did also play around a lot with the management of the zoo. We have some really cool buildings in here with different habitats. So you saw the lion on that side, we have lemurs on this side, and then if you walk all the way around it, this is definitely some great inspiration of how you can combine buildings together. Oh yeah, okay, we have a lot of warthogs in here, like tons of babies, so I'm not surprised. 282 animals. We have some bungos in here and the Nyala on the other side. There is some fantastic stuff in here, especially if you want to have some inspiration for an African zoo. I highly recommend you guys to watch this series. It was so much fun to work on this one. It's some really great architecture, and we even have an aviary for, is it flamingos or was it the red-crowned crane? I actually don't know. I don't really like this, so I'm just going to turn on the sun for a little bit. So yeah, we have an aviary here for the flamingos, and yeah, there is tons of stuff in here. A bungo rainforest for the okapi, including a really cool indoor area. Oh my gosh, I'm just getting excited again just to tour a little bit in my own zoo here. But yeah, highly recommend you guys to watch this one if you want to get some cool inspiration for an African zoo or whatever type of zoo. I mean, you don't have to build it African to get inspiration of a certain zoo, but I know that the African theme and the African animals are definitely part of one of the most favorite animals of most of the communities. So I can imagine. Okay, wait. I just have to show this as well because this was also so much fun. The paws here are for anyone that downloads this zoo from the Steam Workshop, so you don't miss out on anything. But yeah, there's so much possible in this game. It's just so exciting. This building I was so freaking proud of. It looks so cool with all the small little details and stuff. And well, the good news is you are pretty much able to do this on Planet Zoo Console. You might have to use a little tiny bit less pieces, but this is like the maximum of what you would be able to do when it comes down to pieces, because this zoo has 100,000 pieces, so it's slightly more than the 90,000 of the building limit. But I think this definitely gives you a good idea of pretty much the maximum what you could do. I mean, this rocky cave for the bats might be like already 10,000 pieces with so many rocks and stuff. So maybe if you would leave out something like that, you would be pretty much able to do something like that if you want to push yourself to the limits of the Planet Zoo Console Edition. But yeah, this one definitely includes tons of rocks here, but also shows what you can do with the walkthrough exhibit that you will get with the bats, that is, of course. So this is possible on console if you would consider the maximum limit. I am guessing that this maximum limit definitely is what a Planet Zoo Console Edition is able to handle. So definitely one to check out if you want to get some inspiration and an idea of what you are probably able to do with Planet Zoo on console. So another perfect example of pushing yourselves to the limit. I think this might be the best example. This is a really decent size zoo with a decent size of amount of pieces. This one has 28 habitats, if I'm correct, with 53 species and 439 animals in total, with an amount of 142 staff members. And this is all made in my tropical franchise mode series that we had for the past, what was it, 2 to 3 years? Definitely a super fun zoo to build as well. It was one of the longest ongoing series that we actually also finished on the channel. Really great inspiration here for a tropical zoo with like an Asian area, and we have an Australian area, we have an African area. What else do we have? Oh, that's right, we also have a South American area. So this is the African area, there's an Australian area right here in the back. We actually also did very recently a zoo tour of this zoo, so obviously not going to tour this one very closely, but just to give you guys an idea, because this is pretty much the limit what you can do on Planet Zoo console. So this zoo actually includes 90,000 pieces, which would approximately be the amount of pieces that you can use on Planet Zoo console. So this is a great example of things that you would be able to do if my calculations are correct, that is. But yeah, it might be a few hundred or a few thousand more or less, but I think when we have the amount of pieces from the first map that I showed, the career map, then 90,000 pieces is pretty much the limit of the zoo complexity meter that they call it. This is obviously a butterfly dome, guys, one of the domes that I'm just so proud of. But this zoo definitely includes tons of details and tons of underwater viewing galleries, tons of animals. I think this is a great balance of showing you guys what is possible while you are building your dream zoo in Planet Zoo with these amount of animals and this amount of pieces. I think this is definitely a really great. Oh yes, my elephant habitat. I should also just show that because it's just so cool. Inspired of the Amsterdam Zoo. There are tons of habitats in this zoo inspired of real life zoos. And for those of you that are going to work on a tropical zoo, definitely go and check out my tropical franchise mode series, because I am sure that this one will give you guys tons of inspiration, not only for franchise mode of how you can play franchise mode, but also just for what kind of things you can build. And I am, I almost will get a console just to see what you guys will be able to do so I can tour your amazing console zoos, because I'm sure that there are people that are able to do this as well. Even when playing with a controller, guys, as I said, and if you don't want to play with the controller, you can just grab a mouse and keyboard when you're playing on console. But I'm just super excited to see and to know that this kind of stuff you guys will be able to do with Planet Zoo Console Edition. The limit so far is looking great. If you see a zoo like this is possible on console. It's just fantastic. And then last but not least, I want to quickly go over the zoo that we are building right now on the channel. Now, you will not be able to, you're actually able to build on a diorama map like this, but this is the only zoo that I actually did use a little bit of mods to just be able to do some things. So not entirely sure if this is something that will be very easy to build on a console, but regarding piece count and animal wise, this was also a great example. Like, we are now, say, halfly finished of this zoo, and this zoo right now includes 22 animal species, 130 animals, and they are spread out over 12 different habitats, and we now have 74 staff members in here, but obviously the piece count is the most interesting thing. We are now at 47,000 pieces. Now this building obviously includes the most pieces. This is made with a lot of different pieces from the plaster pieces. So yeah, this zoo is definitely very highly detailed, and when we do finish this one, I am expecting it to be around 100,000 pieces. So it will be something when piece count wise you will be able to do as well on Planet Zoo console. Although yeah, I'm not entirely sure if an island like this would be possible, but you will probably have an island map somewhere with, was it the Oceania pack? Probably. If you get that pack, you will be able to build on somewhat of an island if you want to. But yeah, a great example of a diorama, things you can do with dioramas that will also be available in Planet Zoo Console Edition. So yeah, definitely also a nice example. But I was a little bit surprised of how many pieces this already was. With 47,000 pieces, it's quite a lot actually, and we still have not finished this zoo just yet. But again, guys, I am just super excited with all the examples that I just showed you, with all the zoos that I've built. You can find all the playlist links, by the way, for all the maps that you just saw in the description of this video, so you can easily find it. And I will use also timestamps, so you will see the name of the zoo, and so you can find it very easily if you want to jump into any of my franchise mode or sandbox mode series. I got you covered with the links in the description. But yeah, I'm just super excited and happy to see that what is possible with the building limit. But just so you guys know, I don't know exactly if the amount of animals will be also hurting the zoo complexity meter. But yeah, again, I'm not expecting huge differences, but it's something to just pay attention to when we are able to get and play the Planet Zoo Console Edition. But I'm not expecting very huge complaints or whatsoever. If this is indeed correct with the career map that we saw at the beginning of this video being 21%, then yeah, around 90,000 pieces would be around 100%, which is just perfect. It's great. You won't be able to make huge zoos, but you will definitely be able to make dream zoos that are just a decent size with a good amount of pieces, which can look absolutely fantastic if you want to. So yeah, I'm just very excited for all you console players that this is the information that I was able to gather for you guys and to give you guys with the examples with my own zoos. So yeah, do let me know in the comments down below what you guys all think of the information that we have so far with the zoo complexity meter, aka the building limit that you will get with Planet Zoo console. I think it definitely looks a lot better, just very good comparing to what I first thought it would be. So I think that's just fantastic. Leave a like at the video if you guys enjoyed it, and subscribe of course if you haven't already. And yeah, I just really do hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys!